How's it going, everyone? Welcome to We Are All Geeks, the podcast where we're going to go and talk about the Game Awards and their merits or dismerits this year.
Right.
I'm one of your hosts, Kenny.
I'm Felipe.
So let's get right into it. Game Awards is the big topic. First, we're going to go through some nominees. Then we're going to do some predictions on what might be announced. So first things first, get it out of the way. Death Stranding is the newest game that's nominated.
Yeah.
Because they made the cutoff right after Death Stranding. So Star Wars and Pokemon are not nominated for anything. It is also why Smash Bros. Is nominated for stuff.
Yeah, a game that came out last year.
Yes.
Last calendar year.
A game that came out technically in 2018 is nominated for 2019. This is why we're doing our stuff in 2020 for 2019.
Right.
Because to me, that's what makes sense. I can't review a year that's still going.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me to do that. So I think that this is weird because next year we know we have some pretty big games coming. And I don't think games like Star Wars and Pokemon are even going to end up getting nominated next year because of that.
Not in the Game of the Year category.
It's a little bit scary to me.
Yeah. I mean, I understand, because it's a show that happens at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So you do want to give some time for people to, from the judges or whoever they're going to have, come up with who the winners are to go through these games and what have you. So I understand, but still, I mean, the Oscars kind of do this, where there's like a cutoff and whatever.
Every award show does this, and it is at a certain point of the year. But I think even the Oscars, it's January.
Yeah, this seems like really, like if anything, it should have been December, first week of December. Anything before then is good because we're going to have it, a week later or something like that.
And I mean, voting, they do have voting open for quite a while.
Yes, but the voting's not going to help. A game that came out like mid-November is not going to get considered.
Right.
And then those are the games that, regardless how good they are, especially those two games, which Star Wars and Pokemon, I doubt that a lot of people are going to be talking about those games come this time next year when they're talking about 2020's Game of the Year.
And that's my main problem. I mean, just how let's go through it once again for everyone. We have a hell of a March.
Right?
Like right now we got within the 7-week period, we're getting Final Fantasy VII Remake, we're getting Persona 5 Royal, we're getting
Marvel's Avengers.
We're getting
Cyberpunk.
Well, Avengers is at least May, but we're getting Cyberpunk like the second week of April.
But yeah, like
we're getting Doom in March too.
Yeah, in the beginning of this coming year, there's so many huge games and so many. Of course, we don't know, but when they come out. But as it stands right now, like theoretically, the Game of the Year contenders.
It's the Red Dead Redemption argument. Like as soon as RDR2 was announced, we're like, okay, well, everyone get the hell out of the way of that. That's going to be Game of the Year. And then God of War beat it because it ended up being a little bit more mixed than thought. So what I want to do, we're going to go through some of the categories, the ones that we feel we have input on. We're going to give two opinions. One, what is going to win, and two, what we think should win.
All right.
So it's two separate things because, like I said, two of my games of the year are on here, so I can do that.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
With the categories. So
start us up.
Let's start with a couple that are my favorite. Let's start with Fresh Indie Game. So the Fresh Indie Game is a game that was the first game released by an independent studio. So it's not the same as independent game. These are the first things that these studios have made. We have Zaum for Disco Elysium, Nomada Studio for Greece, Dead Toast Entertainment for My Friend Pedro, Mobius Digital for Outer Wilds, Megacrit for Slay the Spire, and House for Untitled Goose Game. To me, this is a two-horse race, even if I think it is more complicated than that.
Well, I've only played one of those games.
Yeah,
and there's two of them that I want to play, that I've been meaning to check them out, and I just haven't yet.
Yeah, I've played one. I've played two of these. So yeah, I really wanted to give it to House for Untitled. That's who I want to win. I'm fairly certain Outer Wilds is going to take it.
Okay. I mean,
when Outer Wilds came out, it had the reception that AAA games will get of, oh my god, this is awesome. Untitled Goose Game, it got a lot of love, but it was mostly memes.
True. I think Untitled Goose Game was one of those games that it almost started as a joke at first. You know, this guy was just making this fun game, just doing whatever.
And it never had a title. And
he just kind of went with it, and it really resonated with a lot of people.
And like I said, it's what I want to win. The other game on here that I played was My Friend Pedro. Which, again, great concept. The control scheme needed work, in my opinion. It's not, and it was short, and that's not a knock against it, because Untitled Goose Game is probably shorter. Just, in my opinion, it was not nearly as good as Untitled Goose Game, but I remember Outer Wilds was more of that niche art house thing that I think the people who are really voting for this are going to be like, yes, this is fine gaming.
To me, like, although I've only played Untitled Goose Game, like I've been wanting to play like My Friend Pedro and the Spire game, I just, there's something to be said for, I know of all these games, but there was only one that I went out of my way to actually get because I wanted to play.
Right.
So sometimes, having access or all the games are out, it's where you choose to spend your time and your money, can speak volumes. And so for me personally, like even though I haven't played the other ones, Untitled Goose Game was the one game that out of all of those, before it came out, I knew about it. I was excited to play it. And then when I finally got it, I mean, it's just a fantastic game, as a first game from a studio.
Great.
I'm just so excited to see what they do next. Even if what they do next is just, another Untitled Goose Game.
Right.
Or maybe another animal or just some other.
Right.
It was such a unique concept that, yeah.
I mean, it's such a unique and simple concept. You're a goose, but you're an asshole.
Yeah.
And
done.
And I mean, game's been out for long enough. Your whole goal is to steal a bell.
Yeah, you're just a jerk.
You just want this bell, and you need to cause chaos on the way to the bell.
That's right.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So to take the first game out of it, best independent game, period. That's our next category. Baba Is You, Disco Elysium, Katana Zero, Outer Wilds, and Untitled Goose Game. So this one, I'm going. Again, I've played two games here, Katana Zero and Untitled Goose Game, and I think Outer Wilds.
Do you still think that's gonna win?
It's gonna win one of those, and I think Untitled Goose Game wins the other.
Okay.
That's how I think people will be voting. I think they'll say, okay, well, Untitled Goose Game is very good. Maybe it's the best indie game. Maybe it's the best fresh indie game because it did take everything by storm. So I think so, but I might have to just go with Katana Zero as the one that I want to win. That game is so fantastic.
Yes.
The slowdown mechanics, the story is actually pretty good, and like there's something there. I want to play more of it. I need more of it. As opposed to Untitled Goose Game, I would love to play another one. This one, I need this resolution that's still kind of hanging there, and it's just such a trip and so much fun. It does the potential false ending, thing. It's really good. It's one of those timing. It's the type of game that I love that it's not easy at all, but also it's not punishing. It will put the checkpoints are not few and far between. The checkpoints are frequent. You don't have to
backtrack a lot.
Yeah, you don't have to if you die, you don't have to play another half hour worth of stuff. That's my problem with all those games like it. It reminds me of Celeste in that way. That every screen is a new checkpoint, and if you could just beat this puzzle, then you never have to see it again, type thing.
Right.
So I want Katana Zero. I'm going Goose Game on this one, or Outer Wilds, whichever one doesn't win fresh.
I think I'm with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. Those are the two that Goose Game is the one that I've played, but from everything that I've seen from the rest of them, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I do want to check them all out, but man, there's too many games, and so
it's kind of that thing they say about the Oscars, where okay, yeah, we'll give like second place, maybe that gets the best screenplay or the best director, and then but first place gets the big statue,
right.
Unless there's a clear first place. All right, let's go to. I want to go next to RPG, role-playing game. So, Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy XIV, Kingdom Hearts 3, Monster Hunter World Iceborne, The Outer Worlds. So, I want Kingdom Hearts 3 to win. It is on my Game of the Year list. It's the one on this list that's on my Game of the Year list more than likely. I think Outer Worlds wins this one because I believe it's also nominated for Game of the Year, if I remember right. I don't know that it wins Game of the Year, and so I think they give it role-playing game.
Out of all those games, I think The Outer Worlds is the most role-playing game out of all of them. The other ones are, an MMO.
Final Fantasy 14.
Final Fantasy 14. Iceborne, which is an expansion to...
Yeah.
Although it's supposed to be just as big or bigger than the main game.
And I think they're taking that.
Yeah, of course. So... But Outer Worlds, it had some... I mean, it had some pedigree. Like, a lot of people like, oh, it's from the people that made Fallout. And But it was almost like the Fallout game name had been like tarnished because of everything that's going on with 76. And so I don't know if it was like a super selling point, but then once the game came out, people are like, oh, like Fallout. Remember Fallout? Yeah. It's like Fallout.
Remember when that was a game that was good? All right, so that's...
And so I personally think that Outer Worlds is going to win. And honestly, I think it's someone that deserves to win.
Yeah. It's not a game that I've played, so I don't want to say I want it to win. I think it's going to win.
Yeah, not a lot of huge, like if they have to throw, well, see, I'm surprised about Final Fantasy. Did they say Final Fantasy 14 as one of the expansions, like the Shadowbringers expansion or something? Which was the one that just came out?
I think it just says Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, it's just Final Fantasy 14 here.
Weird. Because Final Fantasy 14's been out for a bit.
Yeah, it's also nominated in Best Ongoing Game.
Yeah, see, that would make sense because, like, hey...
Yeah, and it's in there with Destiny and stuff like that. And
yeah, so I think it just goes to show you kind of slim pickings, this year maybe for just a straight RPG game. So
I don't know that it gets nominated in a lot of other years.
Right.
I mean, granted, I've been talking about this all week when talking about some games. A lot of these games do not even get on this list in a lot of years.
Yeah.
Like I've been talking about a certain game with people, and I say, yeah, that's my game of the year so far. And they're like, oh, really? You think it's that good? I'm like, no.
But compared to what else came out this year,
it's a 9. But like, it's not game of the year in 2018. It's not game of the year in 2017. Yeah. It might be in 2016. But for me, it was either Overwatch or Uncharted 4. I go Uncharted 4, but it doesn't probably crack the top 5 in 2017 anymore either, because I used to say, 2017, there was 4 real good games that I liked, and now that I've played Persona 5, there's 5 really good games that win Game of the Year so many times that don't win it. And
that's right.
So this is a weird year for Game of the Year, which we'll be discussing more at the beginning of the year next year.
Right.
Because we're doing this the correct way, Jeff Keighley.
That's right. Come at us, bro.
Who the hell are we to be going at Jeff Keighley? Oh, performance is another one I want to talk about. So, we got Ashley Birch for the Pavarti Holcomb in The Outer Worlds, Courtney Hope as Jessie Faden in Control, Laura Bailey as Kate Diaz in Gears 5, Mads Mikkelsen as Cliff in Death Stranding, Matthew Porretta as Dr. Casper Darling in Control, and, of course, Norman Reedus in Death Stranding.
Oh, boy. I got some stuff to say.
Okay, so let me kick it off because I think I'm going to be a lot more brief than you. I think I want this to go to Courtney Hope for Control.
I agree.
I think that that game is completely built around her and her performance. There's not another game on this list that is built like that.
Right.
I mean, even I'll hear you argue about Norman Reedus, it being built around him. It's not. It's also built around Mads. It's built around the events that have caused the world to be the way it is. Not the same way that Jesse is here to save something. You know.
I think that Jessie in Control was a phenomenal character this year. I like the voice acting. She sells the performance, like she really sells that game. There's plenty of little touches of, that you can hear it coming through her voice acting of the doubt the character's feeling or
the doubt, the terror, the confusion.
Yes.
She does so well at it.
I think she does fantastic. Even the moments of levity where she just like makes a joke or something, it's just great. I have an issue with the two. One, I think she should win. I don't believe she will.
I don't either.
I'm pretty sure it's either gonna be Norman Reedus or Mads.
Yeah.
Just for the name, almost like the name recognition. But the thing is, as someone who's about to finish Death Stranding, those two people, they don't bring anything to that game.
Yeah, I mean, the little I played, it does. I'm not saying they're just going through the motions, but it's not the same as Courtney.
Those two they're just names. They're just Hollywood names that they put on this game. Like like I said, I'm about to finish the game, and there's so many other characters from that game that I would say do a better performance than those two. Norman Reedus' character he barely speaks throughout the whole game.
I know. I'm sorry to tell you though, Jeff could not put his own name on this.
That's right. He should.
He should have.
Yeah, but
no. So okay, you think it's going to Norman or Mads? If you have to pick, I'm making you a pick. Norman. I'd probably go Norman too.
That's who I think is going to win. I don't believe.
I don't.
Not that he do bad performances.
No, he didn't do bad, but it's just I just felt like Jesse was so much better.
I agree, but like, they might as well be like special appearances in those games, because Norman Reedus, the fact that he's the main character, he barely talks. Not until now, where I'm like, at the end of the game, I hear a lot more from him, but throughout the entire campaign, people are talking at him, or they're saying, you go to deliver a thing, and some NPC that you never even hear their name will talk more in his little 5-minute conversation that he has than Norman Reedus will having hours of gameplay. Like, he just barely talks. And then with Mads, it's a lot of little things, but it's almost like those two characters are playing themselves.
Right.
So.
All right. Taking a left turn, we did discuss doing this one earlier. I just suddenly kind of wanted to when I seen it. Game direction.
Okay.
So Control, Remedy, Death Stranding, Kojima Productions, Resident Evil 2, Capcom, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, From Software, Outer Wilds, Mobius.
Okay.
I think this is the most interesting category actually. Because I'm going Control. I'm going Control as much as I'm interested in Death Stranding's direction and the stuff like that. And the description is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. I think it was the most innovative and best in here in my opinion. I think I want it to win. I think this probably goes to Death Stranding.
As someone who more than once has said that I actively hate Death Stranding,
Mhm.
even though I'm like trying to finish it,
That's what that action was, finishing the game.
just finishing
Okay.
the game. Something's gonna get finished, let me tell you. But I think they build a world. They had a direction, they had a thing that they wanted to make, and they went for it. Regardless of everything else, they went for it. So I think in that specific category of like, this is the direction that this game is trying, this is what they're trying to show, for better or for worse,
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
All right.
Control, I really like their style. I really like kind of everything that Control did. But I think Death Stranding is going to win that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That quick aside out, fighting game. So Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Showdown, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Okay.
Here we go.
There are 2 games on this list that are among my most played of this year, and that's Smash and Mortal Kombat 11. And it is one hell of a fight, you could say. Like I'm torn, even though I've been thinking about this all day. Which one do I like better? I like Smash more. I play more Smash. I've missed the last 2 DLC characters for Mortal Kombat 11, Sindel and the Terminator. I haven't played either of those characters, even though, and it's always, every time I think about going back to Mortal Kombat 11, I think, oh yeah, but the Crooks, they're still, I'm not going back. But they're both fantastic games in their mechanics, and even Ultimate, I don't like their single player mode. Their little story thing. I hate Spirits. Like, I don't like it. It's not as bad as MK11 but it's still not great. And everyone who finishes it tells me, "Oh, you just need to go and you need to do the Spirits mode." I don't want to do Spirits mode though. I don't want it. But so I'm torn. I'm gonna go with. So I think MK11 wins this. I think, because there's enough people that are like, well, I don't know if Smash is even a fighting game. It's a fighting game. Belongs here. Shut up. But I think Mortal Kombat 11 wins because everyone can agree that it's a fighting game.
Okay.
I want Ultimate to win. I do.
So you think MK is going to win?
I think MK wins. But I want Smash.
See, I am the complete opposite. I think Smash is going to win, but I really want MK to win.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think just Smash has, it has the nostalgia built in, where like a ton of people grew up playing Smash. This game, not saying anything bad, about the game itself. It's been, I hear more people talking about Smash than I do hear people talking about MK. And the other games, I did play Samurai Showdown. Honestly, I thought it was a letdown for me. Again, it goes to show just the slim pickings of this year if they have to introduce that or put that in as one of the fighting games.
Technically, the only fighting game I bought this year was MK11 because, again, I put Smash in 2018.
Yeah. But Samurai Showdown, as someone who like grew up playing Samurai Showdown, like, man, I was so hyped when I heard that they were going to remake it. And I don't know, it just doesn't feel like the old one. It felt so slow for me, and just... The other 2 games are just better games. I personally think Smash is going to win, even though I want MK to win.
All right. No. The next category is action adventure game, not to be confused with action game, which is what we're going to do next. 2 separate categories. The technical definition of this one is for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
All right.
So, Borderlands 3, Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Sekiro.
I don't know that Sekiro falls on... Sekiro to me is just an action game. Like, Yeah, like Control, I get it. As an action adventure game for sure, because you have the exploration and the puzzles, but I don't think the Sekiro falls under that. Borderlands is just a first-person shooter.
Yeah, but they don't actually have an FPS category.
Well, I guess we're going to talk about. Are we going to talk about FPS at all?
There's not one.
Oh, there isn't one.
No, they're divided into action because just to spoil action a little bit, that's where Apex and Call of Duty live.
Huh.
And Gears and Metro.
Okay. Definitely not Death Stranding for sure.
Okay.
But that's just my hatred showing. I love Sekiro. You know this about me.
I know.
I don't think that for this specific category, I don't know that it falls under. To me, Control, I think out of all those games in that category is the definition.
Is what they're going for.
Yeah,
here.
it's almost like this is the definition. Control is the definition. And then we got to put some other stuff in there because like Borderlands, it's a first-person shooter. You just happen to get, level up and have gear. And Link, I personally haven't played Link yet, but I want to. I know that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I almost feel like Link, even though I haven't played it, Link also falls under this category because it's, there's the action.
Oh, by far.
And then there's the exploration and stuff like that. To me, action-adventure is, the Uncharted and the Tomb Raiders and stuff like that. And I feel like Control and Link fall under it. The other ones... Resident Evil, kinda. If they're not doing like a horror game or anything like that.
And I've watched enough Resident Evil 2 gameplay and stuff. I don't get where the traversal comes in there.
Well, they talk about as part of like puzzle solving and stuff like that, don't they?
Yeah, and there's a fair amount of puzzles. But traversal, like that's why I think Borderlands 3 is here, is the traversal.
Right.
And Sekiro, having not played it, I think it's here for the puzzle solving.
Well, see, but there isn't any. That's the thing.
Really?
There's no, like, Control, there's puzzles.
Yes.
With Zelda, there's puzzles.
There's puzzles.
Right? But with Sekiro, it's just like, hey, you killed this guy, on to the next one. It's just a straight-up action game. Like, I would classify it as an action game, not action-adventure game. So, honestly... Personally, I guess not fair to say because it's kind of super divisive game, but any category that Death Stranding's in, I think it's the one that's going to win, even though I believe something else should. So I'm going to go with, I think Death Stranding is going to win this, but I definitely believe that Control should win it.
Okay. I think this is where Sekiro gets a win.
Yeah?
I don't think everyone's going to just snub it. I think there's enough people out there that love it that are like, hey, we need to get this something. So I think this is where Sekiro gets its win because it's not... I don't know if it has an art direction nomination, and I don't think it does, but I don't think it should win that.
For art direction?
Yeah, art direction. Well, maybe I might take... After this, I'll take a detour there because I want... God, I don't know. I think I want Link's Awakening to win.
Okay.
I had a blast with it. It was the first time I played it. The only reason I'm torn is it is a port. It is a remake. But
Resident Evil 2 is the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't giving it to that either.
I know, but I'm just saying, like...
Link's Awakening is the only game on here I beat. But I think Sekiro win. I don't know. Maybe this is where Control gets its win too, because I don't know if it wins Game of the Year.
I don't believe Control wins Game of the Year.
Is
it even nominated for Game of the Year?
It is.
Okay.
And we'll get to my conversation about that because I'll go. I want Link's Awakening. I think Control. That's my final answer. I think Control wins it. I want Link's Awakening.
Okay.
And then because I promised a detour, art direction, Control, Death Stranding, Grease, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Sekiro, and Link's Awakening. I want and think Link's Awakening. I think that is where it should get its win for sure because it has the most distinct actual art style.
I think Death Stranding on this one.
You think Death Stranding wins art style? It does. I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my problem with it. Gray is not a damn art direction.
I know.
I hate that.
But I think that, like with Sekiro, it's, although I really love the game and I think it's a beautiful looking game, there are certain games that I feel like once you, the style, that's so stylistically, that's one of the selling points for sure. Where Sekiro is just, honestly, like if you get someone that hasn't heard about video games or played video games in the past like 5 years and you put that one, alongside some of the other like medieval style or Dark Souls style, they're going to be like, this might as well be like a different level. Versus like, here, let me put you Persona 5 next to some other JRPG, and you're like, okay, this one definitely looks like way different because I think Persona's style is just fantastic. I just think Death Stranding, like I said before, they had a vision and they went for it.
Okay.
And I think it's outside of all of those, well, Control's another one that I really enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So that's who you think is going to win. Is that who you want to win as well?
Well, no, because again,
Okay.
my hatred of Death Stranding.
Who do you want to win there?
Having not, I wish I played Zelda before this conversation, but everything that I've seen from Zelda, I think Zelda deserves to win.
Okay. And I think if I had to pick a second there, I didn't play Sayonara Wild Hearts, but I know that is its calling card, and I could see it. Like, it's a visual album that you can also play. Like, it's a very art-oriented game. I could see it getting a lot of love here also. I just think more people probably played Zelda and will end up voting for it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
All right. Now, to action game. This is for the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat. So, where Sekiro should be, but is not. We've got Apex Legends, Astral Chain,
What?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, Metro Exodus.
What? No. They have Metro, but they don't have, what the?
No, Sekiro is action adventure. That's where it gets nominated. It does not get
Okay, read me the description again of what this category is.
for the best game in the action genre focused primarily on combat.
Combat. Sekiro is by far not only the best action game I've played this year, but I think the best action game that I might have ever played.
Okay.
Just combat-wise specifically. It's a fantastic game. I personally could go on and on and on about it. But combat, gameplay, the way that game runs how about this? Sekiro for me didn't raise the bar, it sets the bar. Like, this is when I play Star Wars, and they're like, oh, the combat's, Dark Souls-ish, or it's the parry, like it just doesn't compare.
That's what gets, okay.
Yeah, it just does not compare. And the fact that they would have it under action-adventure, but not, again, under action, because, like, okay, so what's the difference between that and Devil May Cry 5? To me, Devil May Cry 5 and that is just, they're both just almost like beat-em-ups, except Sekiro, you have a parry mechanic, and on Devil May Cry, you don't. You still go over there with a sword and you beat people up. Like, and to not have that, but have Metro, I just can't believe it. Now, if these are my choices,
These are your choices.
my crappy choices,
This is what you have to pick from. What do you want? What do you think will?
I think Apex will, just
And I
for
agree
the
with
hype.
that. I
you know?
agree with that.
It did. It's almost like Apex is getting to that point where Fortnite is, where, everyone seems to want to forget this. But Fortnite, the reason why it's so popular is because a ton of people played, and then there was that turn of like, now it's just fun to make fun of people that play Fortnite, or like you shouldn't like, if you like Fortnite, you're not a true gamer, like all that crap that people say. I think Apex is getting to that point, like it's getting super popular, and eventually will probably have this turn. It's still a fun game. It's still a very good game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the one that's going to win. Now, if I believe that it deserves it, I don't know.
Well, you don't think any of these deserve it.
It's true. I don't.
So-
But I'm just a hater. I think Apex will win.
Mm-hmm.
But out of all of those, for the action game, God, I don't know, Devil May Cry maybe should win, just because the other ones, again, I think this year, since there's no first-person shooter category,
Mm-hmm.
I think games that deserve nominations just have to be fit somewhere else. Because technically, like, the first-person shooter category should have been, like Borderlands and Call of Duty and Apex, and like all those should be under what's the best first-person shooter. But since they are not doing that, they got to put them somewhere else. Yeah, I just don't see like Call of Duty winning this, but it might just because of the popularity of it. I think Apex wins. Personally, out of all of those, I go with Devil May Cry.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. Apex wins. It is by far the most popular game on here. And for apparently good reason. Also, it's the only one that gets Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order love because of the fact that Respawn put a BD1 skin on the robot in the game. So, cool. I only beat one of these games, and that was Astral Chain. It does have a really good combat system, a really fun combat system. It's pretty fluid. It makes you look really cool. And I think of the games on here for combat, it's the best, in my opinion. I mean, DMC is the same thing.
Yeah.
It is.
This category should have been Astral Chain, DMC, Sekiro, and two other ones who I'm sure if I were given a list of, longer list of games, I could figure it out.
Just out of
but,
curiosity, I probably, honestly, we could have put Resi 2 there, and probably, I'll keep Borderlands there.
Yeah.
But Resident Evil 2 could have easily been there instead. Yeah, I'll go, I want Apex, I think Apex will win. I want Astral Chain to win by default of it being the only one that I've beat.
Yeah, which is kind of how I am with Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is a fantastic action game. It's definitely a fun beat 'em up. But if we're going by the description of combat, it just doesn't compare to Sekiro. But it was still a fun game to play. Not V. Did not like V as a character. Combat no good. But the other two, great.
Yeah, but yeah, I actually really enjoyed Astral Chain. It was really good. I reviewed it on our Tumblr. If you go to, or I think it's even the last post on our Facebook, facebook.com/weareallgeeksmedia, you can find that review and click on it and read it. But it was outstanding. All right, we have come to the end.
So we've come to this.
Of these predictions.
All right.
Game of the year. The Gotti.
Before you even tell anything, Death Stranding is going to win. Don't think it should, but Death Stranding is going to win.
Okay.
Let's go.
Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Sekiro, Smash, The Outer Worlds.
Well, I've shown my hand already, but I think Death Stranding will win. I don't know. It's a game that it definitely has been very polarizing. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest game ever. And then some people, like me, have been like, this is just some weirdness. And he tried to do a thing, and sure, but, they did everything with this game. It looks fantastic. It sounds amazing. I think it has a very cohesive and interesting art style and art direction. They did all the stuff. They just forgot to put the fun in it. They did everything except put fun in this game. I think that will win. Of course, who I wanted to win.
Sekiro. Okay. So.
Control, very close second. I really like Control, but to me, Sekiro, there's no other game. You know what? Side note. Never mind. You do your thing, and then I'll do my side note because I have a beef with this.
I think I want Control. Here's why. Because of the point that you brought up. for every one person that thinks Death Stranding is the game of the year, there's 2 or 3 like you and me that are like, I couldn't get through it. It's too much. And you know what? And I have evidence of that. Red Dead Redemption 2. I was talking about it earlier. Everyone was saying, get the hell out of Red Dead's way. Don't release in the same week or month or year or decade or millennium. This is Rockstar. You do not mess with Rockstar. Get out of the way. It's Red Dead 2. And then this little game, God of War. Came, like, God of War is actually one of the greatest games of the decade.
Yes.
Like, it did live up to that hype. But I think there is more agreement on how great Control is overall and over Death Stranding. Because I think when you get 5 people in a room, 2 of them really like Death Stranding, but 3 of them really hate Death Stranding.
But I think the problem with that, with your argument on that, is that although I agree with you, Death Stranding is a higher profile game than Control. So I think more people will have more opinions about Death Stranding, good or bad. Whereas in Control, it's almost like it came with like no hype, and it came and went, and not a lot of people were talking about Control. Even though the people that did play it, people that did review and stuff like that, gave it very good marks, but it just kind of came and went. Where Death Stranding, there's been all this hype about it, and all this enigma about this game, and then the game came out, and to this day, people are still like, what is this game even about? And I don't know, and blah, blah, blah. And as someone like me who I'm about to finish it, I couldn't even specifically tell you what the story of Death Stranding is, So although I agree, I just don't think enough people really checked out Control, which is a shame.
Yeah, and I mean, you also have a point that the people who love Death Stranding are going to vote for it, as opposed to the people who didn't like it are probably split between Control and Sekiro and Smash. I mean, I'm split between Smash because I love Smash so much. I really want it to win also.
I know, but I think Smash is almost like that.
Smash didn't come out.
It's a fighting game.
It's a fighting game, and it never wins anything.
Fighting. It's hard, even though it's almost like if you want to compare it to the Oscars, like the other games there are the dramas and the period pieces and stuff like that everyone expects it to win, and Smash is like the Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people loved it. It's a very good movie, but no one really think it's gonna win. It's like it maybe gets nominated, and that's just close enough. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it got nominated. But at the end of the day, it's like, come on, you're not. Like there's these other things here. Like you're not gonna win. So that's what I think Smash falls under that. Yeah, I love to be surprised. I love to not have Death Stranding win anything really, just because of, well, other than the art direction thing. I think that one legitimately it could.
Director and art direction. Yeah,
I think those categories, because they really, like I said, they went for something, and through that game, has a bunch of little details that if you dig around, and they had a vision and they definitely went for it. But the other stuff, yeah, I don't know. I want Sekiro to win because it's definitely gonna be my game of the year, probably. It's a phenomenal game. It's one of those where, because of the style, there's a lot of these games that it's like, well, it's kind of like this or it's kind of like that. With Smash being a fighting game, so in the Game of the Year conversation, it's like, well, this is a fighting game. It's almost like, by some people already dismissed. It's like, well, it's a fighting game.
It is. And
it's whatever. I think Sekiro falls under those trappings as well of, well, this is like a Dark Souls game. Like, oh, well, Dark Souls not for me. You know? So, boom. So, immediately.
And I do wonder how many people's minds on the Dark Souls isn't for me thing have been changed through Star Wars.
Right. Yeah.
Because I am one of those people, like, man, I've played through Bloodborne. I've tried to play Bloodborne and stuff like that, and it's just, that's not for me. Star Wars, though.
Yeah, because all it takes is, it's you get a property that you like, for a setting that you're into, and then you can do just about anything. And that's, I hope that the thing that the Star Wars game does is just open up more people to see that, like, hey, you know what? I like this game. Well, do you want another game that's kind of like this?
Mm-hmm.
Boom, try this other, it's okay if you die. Like, because it was that whole statement, like, oh my gosh, when you die, you lose everything, and it's the worst. And Star Wars, a little bit like that.
You lose XP.
You lose XP, but you can always get it back. And, some of these other games, they're like that. They're maybe a little more harsh on the punishment, but once you get through Jedi, you're like, you know what? It's really not too bad.
No, it's not. It really ain't. By the end, it's real good. All right. Go ahead.
No, because I gotta say a thing.
Go.
Because my second favorite game this year, that's nowhere. Well, we didn't go through all of the nominations, but I doubt it's there. Where's Fire Emblem?
Fire Emblem Three Houses was here somewhere. I remember.
Where?
Hold on.
Is there like a strategy game?
There is.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I was like, wow, Fire Emblem is not there. It's like the best-selling Fire Emblem game.
Yeah, so Fire Emblem is here on strategy game with Age of Wonders, Planetfall, Anno 1800, Total War, Three Kingdoms, Tropico 6, Wargroove, Fire Emblem.
It's weird. I feel like Fire Emblem's the one that doesn't match, that category. Like with all those other games, I feel like there's something else, but Fire Emblem doesn't. Anyways, Fire Emblem's a fantastic game. Play Fire Emblem.
Play Fire Emblem.
Yes, I just wanted to bring that up because by the time that we were done, I'm like, where's Fire? We didn't talk about Fire Emblem at all. It's a phenomenal game, and hell, that could have been there under like role playing game, but
yeah,
these categories, man, I don't know. They took out first person shooter, and it's all weird. Yeah.
All right. So real quick, of course, it's not just an awards show. In fact, I watch it more for announcements. So Kelia said we're getting 10 new game announcements at the show. That's in addition to probably some DLC and stuff. Real quick, give me 3 things you think are announced there. And one that's not, but you wish it was.
Boy, I have no idea.
Okay. So the one that I think will not be there that I really wish it was an Arkham game. Or something from WB Montreal or Rocksteady.
Oh, I got some stuff. Go ahead.
I really wish something from them would be there. I don't think it will. 3 things I do think will happen. I think it's very obvious that we're getting Smash DLC. We have one more character left on the pass, and then we have more coming after that. And it's due out in February, like they promised it by the end of February. So we're getting it's where the first one was announced. This is where the last one will be announced. It's like a full circle, everybody. Right. Time is a flat circle.
It's true.
2, I do think we're getting the Harry Potter game finally. I think that's here.
So that was going to be one of the things that I was going to say is that maybe they'll announce this Harry Potter game that it was around this time last year where like this video got leaked and it showed some stuff that looked like a finished game, and then
it just died.
It came in, award shows came and went, E3 came and went, and we're like, whatever happened to this game? Like, it looked pretty cool,
and it looked close.
It looked like they were done, and then
that was clearly a
nothing.
Vertical slice, but that's like a very significant vertical slice.
Right.
It was not a short trailer either.
Right. Yeah. So that was one of the things that came to mind is like maybe they'll show that. And then the other thing, because I don't really have another like thing that I know that they'll do it, but I want to hear about new consoles.
No.
But they won't. I know that they won't.
Yeah,
I know they won't. But my prediction is they'll announce some game will be announced, but it's almost like they will do that thing of coming 2020 or coming 2021, but they won't actually say it's a PlayStation 4 game or it's an Xbox One game. They'll just say, like, here's this other game. That's it. They won't sit and be like, next generation or something. They'll be very coy about where it's coming to. They'll just announce the game itself, but they won't say platforms and stuff like that. So then it would just let people like, oh, so this is next gen or something like that. So, but I could actually see some game coming out being like coming for next generation consoles or something.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
actually a really good one. Something coming for the next gen.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's wrap this show up the only way we know how, with Persona Corner.
Welcome to Persona Corner.
So the news about Persona 5 Royal was the release date,
Yes.
and they put it in hell. They put it in hell.
It's true.
March
true.
10th. I believe, if I'm correct.
Is it a 10th? I thought it was like the 31st or something.
No, it wasn't that close to April, was it? Okay, let's do some research. Should we have done this before the show?
No.
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay.
It's
sure.
fine.
Sure.
Everyone loves to go on YouTube and just watch someone Google something.
Watch some
Welcome.
vamping.
Welcome
That's
to our Google Corner.
yeah.
Where we Google things.
This is March. Okay, you were right. March 31st in the West.
Right.
Yeah, and right below is the list of stuff that is also coming out in March. Just March, by the way. Final Fantasy VII Remake
That's right.
is March 3rd. 10 days later, Neo 2.
Yeah.
7 days later, Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yep.
The 27th, technically, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. Okay, that's a thing. March 31st, Persona 5 Royal. March to be determined, Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah.
What the hell, Atlas?
Well, this game's already out in Japan.
Yes, the game is...
So, and it's
Like,
not
it-
like... Well, it's not like Persona is a huge franchise in the West. Like, it isn't.
You're right, but it is still a huge game franchise, and you're putting it at the end of March, where a couple of weeks later, we're also getting Cyberpunk, and then a couple weeks after that, we're getting Avengers.
Isn't March the end of the fiscal year? I think March is.
March is Q4 for a lot of companies.
So I think that's the reason why last day of March is to be like right there at the end. I know.
I mean, is it?
It's coming, dude. It's coming out like. Yeah, so we're just talking about March, but then as we start moving on to the next month, it's just there's no place for this game, you know.
Yes,
like
there is.
the place for this game actually would have been like this week, next week,
Right.
you know,
or February. I'm telling you, Valentine's
guess,
Day.
yes.
Like I mean, I'm not discounting that how long it could take to get the translations and the localization done. I still don't believe they couldn't have got this out in February. Like I think
Valentine's Day is a missed opportunity.
It's actually to the point where I believe that there is something behind on localization to where if they could have got this out ahead of March. I mean, originally we thought that February we were gonna have Last of Us, and now we don't have Last of Us anymore.
Right.
But I think if they could have got it out ahead of all of that, they would have. So but God
yeah,
damn it,
should have been Valentine's Day. Their tagline is "Take your heart," you
Like,
know. It's right there.
You know, like people. Man,
I know.
man.
You know what? One of these days, guys, we're definitely gonna finish Persona 5, and then we'll talk about it more.
One day we will finish
One day
Persona
we'll finish
5.
Persona
I
5.
don't know when that day will be.
Someday
I
soon.
don't- and hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Pray for us. In the comments. Pray for us in the comments. No. Of course, if you enjoyed what you just saw, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. What did you think about our Game Awards predictions? What do you think was going to win? Do you think they should have extended that deadline a week or two so that they could have got better games in there? Because they should have.
They should have.
They should have. Just a week. That's it.
They should have.
But they want. Here, want me to go full conspiracy theorist on this?
Here we go.
All right, hold on. Let me mess up my hair a little bit. We're going full conspiracy theorist.
Aliens.
All right, aliens. No, here's Jeff Keighley wanted Death Stranding to win, and he knew that if they put Pokemon and Jedi in there, it would have threatened it. Because I think more people would rally around Jedi than Death Stranding. It would have united the 3 people in the room out of 5 that say we hate Death Stranding, and I think they would have went to Jedi. That's my conspiracy theory.
No, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
don't think
That's
you're wrong.
exactly what would have happened, and now Jedi and Pokemon are going to win nothing because they're going to be.
They won't. They'll be forgotten. And then
gonna-
next year when we're going to be talking about this, it's going to be Cyberpunk, Last of Us.
Cyberpunk, Last of Us, Final Fantasy VII
Okay,
Remake.
here's a weirdness. When does the new consoles come out? because then it's going to be
Right.
Is the new
Right.
consoles going to be, the weird cutoff, or is it going to be like, well, so here's this, but then new consoles will be out by, they say holidays, so it's theoretically they could be out by like November, so they could be out like early November. Anyways, check back in a year and see how wrong we were.
Check back in a year and see how wrong we were. Anyways, with the conspiracy theorists over, my name is Kenny.
I'm Felipe.
Have a great one.